Hey guys, this is Lisa from NYC Gal Out. Okay guys, I just made a short video about my new house in Fort Johnson, Louisiana. I'm going to upload that after I do this video, so go check that video out also. This upcoming Sunday is when they are going to be filming The Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion, if you even want to call it that. They're going to have basically a split panel like what they've been doing for the last 2 years at BravoCon. Now, the last time that BravoCon was held in New York City, they split for the first time the Real Housewives of New Jersey panel because Teresa absolutely refused to be on the stage with the Gorgas, the Daddy Diaries. He specifically stated that BravoCon for New Jersey, the panels was split because Teresa had called him up and said she absolutely refused to be on the stage with the Gorgas. And that was the first time BravoCon was split for the panels. The second time was the following year in Las Vegas, where BravoCon, the Real Housewives of New Jersey panel, was split again. So in keeping up with the split panel tradition, I guess, that is what they're going to do instead of a traditional reunion. How do I feel about that? I don't know. It is a little bit hard because I feel like and I understand why Andy Cohen and the other executives would want something like that. Because if we remember last reunion, there is just so much screaming. Nobody's able to get their point across, right? Nobody's able to get their point across, and everybody's just like screaming over each other, and really there is no resolution. But if you have the panel split, yes, nobody's going to call you out on your BS, but at the same time, it's no different than being in a courtroom. And I always like to say the court of public opinion is what wins over. There's the court of law, but even the court of law is more or less based on the court of public opinion, because when you have a jury trial, your court of public opinion is 12 men or women who decide your fate. So this is more or less the same thing that is happening with New Jersey. No, they're not going to be able to call each other out on their bullshit, but at the same time, this is basically the closing argument for whoever is going to believe your narrative. This is the narrative that you put out there to convince the jury box that you are the one who's telling the truth. So in that sense, I think it would make for interesting television. And I also think that of all the reunions, that New Jersey is probably the one that exasperate Andy Cohen the most. The Gorgas, Margaret, and the Fudas, they're going to tell their side of the story. And I guess Jen Aiden, Teresa, and I'm assuming Dolores is going to be on that panel just to even out the seating arrangements. Jackie and Jen Fessler, I'm interested in knowing which side Jen Fessler is going to be on. She's probably going to be on Margaret's panel, but Jackie's definitely going to be on Teresa's panel. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they all have to say. The show is going on hiatus, and we'll see where it goes from there. Despite all the rumors that you hear about this person being let go, that person being fired, and et cetera, nobody has contracts yet, okay? So for those people out there who's saying that I know, or my source, or all this other stuff, no, they don't. No, they don't. Nobody has contracts, and there are a lot of people who feel like they are secure. People like Margaret. Margaret is definitely not secure in her position with Bravo. She can kiss up to Sirens Media as much as she wants. Sirens Media is not the one that decides the contract. The ones that decides the contract is the network. It's Bravo. So she could have dinner, lunch, breakfast, brunch with whatever producers she wants. But the fact is, Bravo, the network, decides on the contracts. Okay. So having said all of that, who knows? Who knows who is going to come back? I personally don't think that somebody like Margaret is coming back. I also don't really see the Gorgas coming back. Teresa, here's the thing. With Teresa, I feel like Bravo is not done with her yet. Whether it's that she gets her own spinoff or what, I just don't see her ending her relationship with the Bravo network. And they're filming the reunion episode, if you even want to call it that. They're filming that this weekend. But guys, this weekend is the opening ceremonies of the Summer Olympics. Now, I told you that when it comes down to it, NBC Universal cares more about the Summer Olympics, which they have the exclusive rights to air in the United States. They care more about that than they do about some reality show on Bravo. That is just facts. Comcast is the parent company for NBC Universal. Nobody is going to convince me that Comcast or NBC Universal cares about a reality show on one of their sub networks like Bravo. not over the Summer Olympics. They are putting their focus and their energy into that. And it's unfortunate because I kind of feel like the timing of when they decided to air Real Housewives of New Jersey is also kind of sabotaging them in a way. Sabotaging them just for the fact that it's Sunday in the summer. Like, who the fuck wants to be home on Sundays in the summer to watch reality TV? Not me, which is why I recap this shit the following day on Monday. I will be curious to know how the network moves forward. But again, I personally, now this is not anything that I have confirmation on, but this is just my personal opinion. I personally do not think that they are going with a full reboot. Of course, everything is on the table. Caroline Manso's brother-in-law, Tommy Manso, he's been found guilty. He's been convicted. It'll be interesting to see what he gets sentenced.